It's Deprogram, the podcast where we try to get you into a band. That's right. We've done all the work for you. All you have to do is push play, and I guarantee you today we are going to make your hands clap. Say yeah. I added that last part for a different band. I threw the entire thing off because if you haven't been listening to this show, that is what I do. I'm the worst. But ladies and gentlemen, people that are
That's why we love you.
Yeah, that I was about to say that's why we're friends, man.
you gotta lay the softball up, and then you completely miss the bunt. It's just what I do, and I also cross all the metaphors. It's great. So when I looked this up, it looked like Keith, for your triumphant return, you're the person who put Fitz and the Tantrums on the board. I think that is correct. So we're going.
That sounds about right, but I also haven't really followed their career since I put it up on the board. So
interesting.
Yeah, my bad. I did appreciate jumping back into it.
So you're back in the fold here. Talk to me about Fitz and the Tantrums and why at the time you decided to put them on the board and why you thought we should talk about them.
Their first album was very high energy, had some good piano stuff in there with some fun instrumentation. The piano wasn't the driving one, but I always pick up when you get some good piano in a song. And yeah, it's just high energy, feel good, get you kind of hyped up, and they've continued that through their 5 albums.
So I think shortly, because this would have gotten put up when everything was still on the Deprogram Facebook, and I think you probably signed up for this, Katie, before you moved. This may have been just after RFR times. So this one's been kind of tabled for a while, but you signed up. So talk to me about what made you jump on board for a Fitz and the Tantrums episode.
I feel that I have to take credit for all of my friends liking Fitz and the Tantrums and all of my family liking Fitz and the Tantrums, because I feel like nobody in my circle knew of them before me. I actually found them back in 2013. And that was because one of their songs was playing on the radio when I was working as an AFN DJ in Korea. And I just loved kind of the retro sound. And when their second album came out, I'm like, oh my God, this is even better. So getting to kind of tell everyone about them, and then Out of My League, which really I would say was kind of their breakout single, came out. They were like, oh yeah, we knew about this. Katie told us about it. So I've seen them twice in concert now, I think, but I'm in Keith's boat. I think around the time that I jumped into Fitz and the Tantrums was really about the last time I really was following them. But I just like the mix of the electronic and the retro and the upbeat style of it, and it's the kind of music that you can just really, it's good car driving music that's going to get you in the good mood, maybe give you the motivation to conquer another day.
It sounds like all of us are kind of accidentally in the same place here, because obviously for me, this was, other than the radio stuff, brand new. Like all of it was brand new for me. And, I hate saying things like this because it feels like it's disparaging, part of the discography, but those first 2 records are just like scorchers. And they're like, it's light years beyond the last 3. And again, I feel like I'm disparaging the back half of the discog here. I'm not. Like the rest of the discog's fine, but those first 2 are so special. Like it felt like, you guys have already touched on some things that like really jumped out at me. Like the piano, like it feels very Motown adjacent. So like I was like, this is probably why Keith's in. The pianos and not exactly Motown, but to your point, Katie, like there's like a throwback appeal to it. Those first 2 records just hit. And I guess to that point, I'm kind of leading us to that next part of the conversation, Keith. Like as you're going through that, your to pick stuff to make your 20 for this. I don't know, like you mentioned before we went on, 3.5 years in between, this being the first band back Was it a difficult 20 to make, or did you approach it the same way as you always have?
A little bit. I mean, I always listen. It's been a few years since I've been on the show, so I always listen to it chronologically. I usually have probably about 40 songs in my first pass for a discography of this size, 5 albums. I think I ended up with like 38 or 39. And then I just go through and listen to those again, the ones that jump out. And then I have to start getting really critical, is it too similar to a different song, or is it, is it same groove as another one, or the lyrics too depressing, or are they, do they fit the mood that I'm in that day? It's definitely a process. And this one, I know we tried to meet last month and it didn't work out. Honestly, it was good because it gave me the time to kind of revisit this stuff with a fresh ear and really kind of hut it down. And there were a few that was a little difficult because we had 5 albums, so I usually try to do an even spread unless one album is just above the rest of them. But I picked 4 songs from each of these albums, and I'd say, yeah, there's probably 2 or 3 that I could easily still have in my list if you let us go past 20.
Interesting. Okay, so you really played the game. So we'll see if that works out to your favor or not. Katie, like, again, it's been a little while since you've been here, but last time you were here for Panic. Is there a different approach between the bands, or are you kind of taking the same mindset going into this list?
For me, it was, I kind of took a backwards approach to Keith because I feel like the first 2 albums I know so well and are still even a regular part of my rotation. Like if I've got something from the first 2 albums, I'm not like they're automatically getting played. But I was so unfamiliar with, especially the most recent one. Had to listen to that first and then kind of go back. I Self-Titled was like right around the time where it came out in 2016, and of course 2017 was when I moved, and all that was kind of almost the downhill for me in terms of how closely I followed them.
Mm-hmm.
But it was backwards for me, and I was nervous because you mentioned it too, Justin. How just the first 2 albums are absolute scorchers, and I questioned myself when even as recently as this morning, I thought, God, do I have too much from the first 2 albums? And then I kind of I'm still like working through the guilt on that because all 5 are good, but there's just something special about the first 2.
Yeah, and that's just it. Like I don't want to repeat it, but that was my approach. Is like, is there anything? Basically, I weighted the back end of the discog against whatever I brought from the first 2. And I was like, are they similar, and which one does it better? And, if the front end of the discog did it better, I took the front end, no ifs, ands, or buts. Because I feel like, again, what we're trying to do here is attract somebody to Fitz in the Tantrums. And the back half is poppier, like traditional popular. So like I feel like if we can get them hooked on that bluesier throwback sound, it makes the popular stuff go down easier. Although it is wild to think that if they would have just stayed the route, I feel like they could have been even bigger. I know they have like a couple like just massive hits, but like I feel like that throwback sound really came back around, and they probably could have stayed in that pocket, but that's all hearsay. So that takes.
I think, Justin, to that point, wanted to try to find a good spread of something that was representative, even with the new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they did they slowed it down. They had a few melancholy ones on that back half. So I threw like one of those in, but despite liking some of the other ones, I was like, that's not representative of their sound if I stick with some of the slower stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. They're definitely
I'm curious how they are in concert.
They are great in concert. Now, again, this is first 2 albums. I saw them once in 2014 and once in 2015. They were great. The sets were very, very similar because the self-titled album hadn't come out yet, but they were amazing. I saw them at the Norva, and then I saw them at a music festival that was kind of one and done in Suffolk. And that one I loved. I was so just like gung ho about going to the concert that I went just like 2 weeks after having surgery. So I was literally on crutches.
Wow.
And I'm just like fist pumping my crutches in the air. Like, I did not care, but it was very high energy. Definitely a lot of the same vibe. I felt like it was more of a vibe from More Than Just a Dream as opposed to Picking Up the Pieces, but it was very high energy. They did do a cover of Sweet Dreams by the Eurythmics in both of those shows, which was absolutely excellent. And the only song that they didn't kind of stay true to in terms of performing the way it was recorded was Last Raindrop, which is one of their more melancholy songs on More Than Just a Dream. They stripped it down a lot. That was kind of their like acoustic, super chill, super low energy song, but everything else was like right on par with what you heard on the record.
So it sounds like that was just an offset, like a good reset in the set to rebalance out the high energy that they're known for. So I don't know, like based on everything we're saying, like this feels like we could really be looking at a wild card episode here. Like this could go like we have a lot in common, or this could mean we have nothing in common. Like this is it could go.
I'm feeling I'm going to be the odd man out here, and I'm totally fine with that because, I mean, you guys have already said it. The first half is some great bluesy kind of poppy or upbeat stuff. So I'm not going to really argue a lot of it, I imagine.
So to that point, though, Keith, this is the part of the show where we find out. We were doing this last time you were on, I think, right? Where you pick the 10th one, the final say. Were we doing that?
Oh yeah, we were still doing the final say.
Okay, good. So I wasn't sure if that had been.
I think it was like the bullet, the final bullet or something.
Number one with a bullet. No,
number one with a bullet. I remember that one.
So that's where you pick the first song. The final say.
Okay.
The final say is we're each going to pick a number for how many we get through unanimously. And if one of us gets that number on the nose, we get to pick the 10th song, no questions asked.
Oh.
Okay. See, a new rule, a new wrinkle. So based on everything we've said, how many do you think we are going to get through, Keith, unanimously?
Unanimously?
Yes, sir.
Boy. 4?
That sounds about right. I feel like there's a good 4 out there. What do you think, Katie?
My optimism for Panic got me looking like an idiot. So I'm gonna 4 was my answer, but since Keith took it, I'm actually gonna say 3.
3, okay. 4 does seem like the right number. Keith might just win by being first.
Sorry.
No worries. I've won it too much, and I don't want that pressure. I've won it a lot this year. I hate it.
Is it like Price of Right rules? Like if you go over, or is it like closest to it? So like if we get 2, are Katie and I both out because we both voted over, or does Katie get it because she was closer to the mark?
We did it. We initially did that, but we more recently changed it to you have to hit the number on the head.
Okay.
If you don't if none of us get the number, then we just have to discuss the list all the way. So
Gotcha.
I do feel like this is an agreeable discog, so I feel like even though there's a good possibility we don't get a ton unanimously, I don't think that second round is going to be difficult. But the question isn't, are we going to be able to negotiate a list? The question is, how many are we going to get unanimous? And maybe I go high here in hopes, because if I'm right, that's pure optimism. But hoping that you guys are right, it still makes me out to be the optimist. So I'm going to go 6.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, again, I don't want it. But if I get it, that means we got 6 through unanimous. So that's really cool. So
Fair
I like
point.
All right.
True.
So we're going to take a quick pause, and when we come back, we're going to play the game, Jack. It's the program. And with that, the name of the game is Deprogrammed. The three of us have combed through the Fitz and the Tantrums discog and plucked out 20 songs that we're now going to mash together in an attempt to create a top 10 starter kit for you, in case you have never given Fitz and the Tantrums the time of day. And, you know, I get it, I guess. You know, I was that guy. We're going to fix that for you. And anybody who's been listening to the show long enough, I'm sure maybe the two of you know this by now. I love when a band tells you what's up right off the jump. First track, first album. Hey, this is what we do. Expect this. And I got to tell you, considering that I basically only knew one song that kind of gave me, kind of made me groan when I heard it on the radio. And we'll talk about how my thoughts changed on that song. But when I heard this song, completely changed my tone on the band and completely opened my ears for what I was about to get into. Breaking the Chains of Love.
I don't got it.
You are a one-man island on that, my friend.
Wow. Okay.
I know.
That's wild. I mean, look, obviously I don't take it back, but it is the only answer I got when I asked the audience about what is essential Fitz in the Tantrums. It was literally the only song I got. So
really?
I thought I was I didn't necessarily think it was a home run, but all those things stand. Without this song being first on the list, I think I enter into this episode wholly different. And this song completely opened my ears and made me ready for what I was getting. So I'm very thankful.
I'm glad they gave it to you right off the bat, though. I'm glad you were able to get right into it.
Right, exactly. And I love when a band does that, and especially if I have preconceived notions. They changed my preconceived notions on them right off jump. So I wholly appreciate that song. It is a bummer it's not even going into the conversation, but give that a listen. Next chance you get, because say good is say good. All right, Keith, where do you want to start?
You know, I'm gonna stick in the same album, that Pick Up the Pieces album. I'm gonna go the track right after that, Dear Mr. President.
I've got it.
Okay, good. I don't. It's a 2, but that means it lives another day. That this is literally just an example of I got to make cuts off this first record because I have a lot.
Yeah.
I was listening to it just before you guys came on, and I was like, "This is on my list, right?" And I went, "Oh wait, no, it isn't," because I have,
And it's so dependent on your mood of the day or how much you've been listening to. Because sometimes you get, I mean, I don't know about you, for you guys, is sometimes if I have a good long stretch of time, I might knock out 2 albums.
Yeah.
So, by the time I get to the end of that second album, I might be just kind of more down on it, or, I might hear it differently than if I just heard that second album by itself,
Totally.
It happens.
All right. It lives to see another day. It is quite alive. All right, Katie?
Why come off of this album if we don't have to? I am going to go with the very first song I ever heard from Fitz and the Tantrums that made me say, whoa, who are these guys? They sound so great. It is the song, of course, that was on the radio rotation all those years ago. I went with Don't Gotta Work It Out.
I got it.
Got it.
Hey, there we go. I actually did not know that was a radio song.
But I'm not even sure if it was in America, because I was a DJ for an American base in Korea.
Fair.
So over there it was on the radio, but I don't know if it was a radio single or getting much play in the States at the time.
Trying to give it a couple seconds.
I'm trying to remember what I did hear from them on the radio in America.
Well, it's very
up until More Than Just a Dream. I'm not sure. Again, I I didn't see any other songs from this album in our radio rotation, and the next one I saw was from More Than Just a Dream. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it vaguely sounds.
Now I want to look at like the Billboard and see if any of them topped.
It sounds vaguely familiar, like maybe it might have, but I don't know if that's just recency, you know, because I literally just listened to these records. So, all right, Don't Gotta Work It Out is in. 1 down, 2 to go to meet Katie's 3. Shoot, I mean, let's stay here. Let's stay on this record. I'm gonna bust out as many until I hit one. How about that? Picking up the pieces.
Got it.
I don't, but it's still in the conversation.
Yes, all right. We'll take.
I like when the title track is a good track.
Yes, I know it's a silly thing, but yes, when the title track is as good as the rest of the record, it's. I hate when it's a bummer of a song, and this is not a bummer of a song. All right, Keith?
I'm going to go with my last one from this album, Rich Girls.
Oh, interesting. I don't have that.
I don't have it.
On your own there, friendo.
It happens. Bound to get one eventually.
All right, Katie?
This one, it was between this one and Picking Up the Pieces, but this one went out. I believe this is also my last one from this album, and that would be Money Grabber.
That one's a good one, but I had to cut it.
Oh, that's another one. I was listening just before we came on. I was like, I have this, right? Nope. Nope. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I think Money Grabber. I think when I struck this one, it was like, all right, I've got Dear Mr. President, Picking Up the Pieces, and Money Grabber. I gotta drop one of them so I can keep it below.
All right. Well, we're still doing all right. We still got plenty of gameplay here.
4 more albums.
All right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's see. 1, 2. Let me move on. I'm going to just go in order here. How about that? This song has already come up plenty of times, so why not bring it up now? Out of My League.
I've got it.
Got it.
Right. And again, when I heard it initially, I was like, I've heard this before. And then when I was listening to it just now, oh, I heard this before. And I was like, duh, this was the breakout. This was the breakout hit. But I mean, it's very fitting. And what I love about this is it's definitely different from the first record. Like, it's kind of double-edged. Like, it presses their sound forward and clearly enough to break them out, which I think is unfortunate overall because they definitely press more towards pop after this.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I would have loved if they stayed in this pocket. Now, again, look, that sounds like I'm disparaging the rest of the stuff. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I like this stuff like a lot. And, you know.
And if we'd had 5 albums of that, we could make the argument that they're just stale and they're not evolving.
Yeah,
they're just trying to evolve their sound like any other solid band.
That's true. So, Out of My League is in. We got 2. Keith?
Sticking with this album, let's go with House on Fire. Really enjoyed the chorus on this one.
I got it.
I don't.
All right.
It was so close. I picked another song from this album instead, but it was so close.
I've still got 2 more on this album, Katie. There's still a chance.
All right.
But I like that we have at least one from each of the first 2 albums now.
Yeah,
yes.
Totally. Yeah.
Very good point.
So we've already accidentally hit some album representation. So I'm into it. Mm-hmm. And look, we'll take 2s all day because it'll make that conversation later thicker. All right, Katie?
Again, keeping with this album, now that I think about it, my memory came back to me, and actually this song popped up for me before Out of My League did, and that would be 6 a.m.
I got it.
I don't.
All right.
2 is better than 1, though.
That's right.
It's still alive.
That's right. Especially this early on. You want these ones that you get a chance to fight for. They get to come back and say something again later. I guess I'll stay on this album one more go again. How about that? How about Break the Walls?
I don't have it.
Nope. Nothing on that one.
All right. All Alone. Bound to happen. All right. Keith?
Spark.
Yeah, I got it.
I don't.
Very
On the
interesting.
conversation now.
Yeah. Very interesting. I'm not like I've thrown out a couple duds, but I've been on more than I've been off.
I would say very bound to happen with this diverse taste with the three of us.
All right, Katie?
Okay, let's see here. Fool's Gold. I'm probably on my own for this one.
That was one of the last ones I struck from this album.
Yeah, I don't have that one. I looked down because I thought maybe I did, but I do not. All right. How about I move on to... I'll move on to self-titled, I think. All right, we got it. It's going to come up eventually, right? I made a joke about it. I have it on my list, so I might as well bring it up. I thought maybe somebody else was going to bring it up, and maybe I should have let it come back to me. Hand clap.
I actually have it.
Nope, I do not.
Okay. That, to me, that feels like a room splitter. You know what I mean? Like, I like it. I hated it when it came out. I'm not going to lie. I absolutely loathe that song. But as I mentioned before, you know, coming into this in hearing that first song, I was like, oh. And then by the time I get the hand clap, I'm okay. I'm like, okay, I get it. And there's a pop sensibility to it that could kind of, you know, get somebody on board. But I also could understand somebody making the case, if you haven't heard that, then, and that didn't get you in, well, you know, why would it now? So I could hear an argument either way, but I wholly softened on this song doing this show. So, all right.
I'll admit, one of the biggest reasons I put this on here is because there's actually a remix of this song that I think is just so enjoyable. And if you don't like Hand Clap, you would very well like the remix. But I felt since I like the remix, it was an obligation to put the original on.
I like your line of thought.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna find this remix now.
Yeah.
It is the Hand Clap. I just looked it up. It is the Miles Travis remix. There's a lot of horns in it and a lot of good beat drops. So
I'm a sucker for horns. All right. So Hand Clap was me. Keith, you're up.
I'm gonna close out my More Than Just a Dream album with Merry Go Round.
afraid I don't have it.
Yeah, me neither. Sorry. There it is. All right.
That's my solo one on that album.
All right, Katie?
I am probably going to be solo here as well. The Walker.
I got it.
Oh, haha.
It made my first pass, but not my second, unfortunately.
This is very interesting, the way I'm like kind of splitting y'all's lists.
You really are.
Like I'm on some with Katie, some with Keith. Very interesting. I mean, you know.
And it's funny because, you know, like I said, I was doing 4 per album since we had 5 albums, made it nice and easy mathematically speaking. I've got 2 in the conversation for each of the 2 albums, 1 all the way through, and 1 solo.
Interesting. That Keith. He's a math guy.
Love my numbers. Like you said, you had a spreadsheet. I was like, oh man, I need to see this thing.
All right. We're back to me, huh? All right.
I believe we are.
So I'll stay on self-titled since I was there last go. How about Fade Back?
Got it.
I've got it.
Oh, there we go. And there's the third one. So if we do nothing else, Katie,
Nobody agree on anything. I'm kidding.
we have to disagree about everything from here on out.
I really liked the synth riffs on this one. They got a little fun with those. Made it very enjoyable trying to keep up with it.
Indeed. Again,
It's like it's I call it a good strutting song. Like that very beginning of it, it's just like you are like you're walking with confidence.
Yeah.
I didn't even catch that, but like it's playing in the background right now. I don't think it goes out over Discord. But like the second you said that, I was like, yeah, I get that. And then it's funny that you say that because that kind of ties it back to that. It gives me that almost disco. Like it's almost a more modern disco. It's not quite, but like it is in that same vein. Like we were talking about a throwback, quality to it that was not the reason I picked it. But like now that I'm hearing it now, and I love when things come to light while I'm talking into a microphone.
Look, that just makes it, raw and very personal, Justin. That's all.
Justin didn't study enough and could have had these things at the ready.
Look, no, you need because we're doing this for a podcast, so we don't always just kind of sit back and listen and try to enjoy it. We've got a purpose in mind. So when you actually can have someone point something else out, you're like, oh yeah, no, there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Whether you noticed it or not the first time around.
Yeah. All right. We got 3 in. I'm into it. Keith, we're winding down here.
Yeah. Let's stick with the self-titled album and let's go with Burn It Down. It's been the mood I've been in lately.
Okay.
I've got it.
I can't put it through, but we will take the 2.
I will take it.
Anything to keep us out of I think we're officially out of the bin too. Yep. We have a conversation. Nothing's got to come out of the trash bin. So
good.
All right, Katie.
Sticking with self-titled, I'm going with Complicated.
Nope.
No.
Oh, the soundtrack to my bad decisions while traipsing around Europe. Oh no. Perhaps it should stay locked away.
I love that. I mean, obviously, there's information like that. There's no way I could have known going in. But I love when there's a story. I hate that, I have to go no. But I love when there's a story involved to a song that you chose. I just hate that I have to crush it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Just crush all my hopes and dreams and all my memories. It's cool. It's cool. It's fine.
No problem. That's what I'm here for.
Well, it sounds like you've got a song that goes along with it perfectly.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I got 9 left. So maybe we do like 3 more rounds, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I think I've got 10 left.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 9.
All right. Yeah, we're all roughly in the same neighborhood then. Let me try an All the Feels one out. How about I Just Want to Shine?
I don't have that one.
I don't. One of the last cuts I made.
All right.
I never connected with that song, I think, the way I was meant to.
Possibly. I think the name is carrying a lot right there. Like, if I'm being perfectly frank, I think I can connect with just the title alone, and that made me connect to the song. Sometimes it is that simple. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times in my life, that is just how I feel. I just want to shine. I want to be, I don't want to be dark cloud Justin. I want to be, sunshine Justin. And
I think even with their darker suns, they still managed to hit that upbeat stuff going too. So you could definitely do that with these guys.
Yeah. All right, so that one goes into the bin. Keith, you're up.
Sticking with the self-title still, Fool.
Very good, but no.
I've got it.
Hey.
Yeah. All right, I got one more song on that album, so I expect neither one of you to have it.
Yeah, I think I'm tapped out on that one as well.
The way the
So,
math has been working.
spoilers.
Yeah, the way the math has been working. All right, Katie?
I am also jumping into all the feels, and I may be on an island with this one, but I did go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Got it.
Hey, I don't, but I love when somebody
That was
takes
a
the
fun
chance. Yeah.
All the feels was like where they started to get like, I expected to hear their song at like basketball games. It could just be because we're in March Madness right now, but
Also true.
you know,
No, I think you're right.
like I just expected a basketball team to come out to like half of this album.
You know what? And again, now that you say it, like, and I tracked this when I was going through that part of the album or the discography, and maybe I should have let them be more fun. I think I was too busy like looking for that thing that connected me back to, which is funny because I'm the one who threw hand clap in there, which is nothing but fun. But like I think like I'm looking for that I guess the word I'll use is edge that those first two records had, instead of allowing the artist to be what they clearly are from album three on, which is a lot more fun. So maybe I should have tracked that a little harder as I was making my list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they can definitely suck you in, even with that poppy stuff. As much as as you both know, as much as I love my blues and that kind of old R&B style, I mean, they definitely pulled you in with this poppier stuff.
Mm-hmm. All right. I still have a couple all the feels, so I already did that one. How about OCD?
Got it.
I got it.
Wow. All right. Well, unfortunately for Katie, that moves us into 4, which is where Keith is at. So as it stands,
Womp,
as it
I
stands,
pass the torch to you, good sir.
Yeah, well, at the rate we're going, I think the number's going to be 5, but we'll see how it goes.
still plenty enough. Again, here's me allowing the band to be fun. I don't know. I mean, maybe it just hit at the right time. Who knows?
Yeah, it was a fun song, and the lyrics I related to it.
Yeah, OCD. I get it.
Yeah, right.
All
All right,
right.
is this one on me now?
Yes, sir.
All right, I plan to be on an island just because this is the way I've been trending from the self-titled album, Get Right Back.
I've got it.
I got it too.
Snap. Trend broken. You got it, Justin?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, there we go. There's our 5.
We can't get another one right. I don't want the pressure. Please don't do this to me.
Well, no, because I think this actually works out, because if you do get it, I think you should get the final say on it, because you're the one who's even as we're going through this, you're starting to like rethink how you listen to these guys.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So if anyone, it should be you. I'm all right with it.
It is interesting, like the way I honestly thought after the third record we were going to be like all of us were going to be all over the place, and here it is. Like I feel like we're hitting the most there. Very interesting. All right. So let's see. It is Katie's turn.
It is my turn. I am actually moving forward to the most recent album, Let Yourself Free. Anybody else notice how short all these songs were?
Yeah, under 3, if I remember correctly.
All of them. Like by the time I was done with this album, I felt like, you know how like McDonald's has the timer that's like they've got to have their food turn around in like under 3 minutes. I'm like, was that same timer in the studio when they were writing the songs? They were all short.
Maybe they're capitalizing on how society's changing. They
Short attention.
we want the quicker things.
Yeah.
Right? We've all got somewhere to be.
Yeah, we don't want the long songs anymore.
I'd call me old fashioned, but I'm like, give me the long stuff. But I did start things off with the first track, Good Intentions.
Ooh.
Got it.
Well, I can't bring that to a 3, but it does get to live to see another day. Is it 2? Boom. All right. Is this the second round since I said we're doing 3? I think. All right. I'll stay on that record with you, Katie. How about Stepping on Me?
I got it.
Got it.
Nuh-uh.
Oh, Icarus, your wings.
This is what I get.
Yep.
This is what I get.
Hey, you make the rules. I mean, this is purely your fault.
I know, right? People that keep saying, "Well, why don't you just not play? Why don't you just not pick one?" I was like, "Well, that's not fair. Everybody else is doing it." Stepping on Me just really, really grabbed me. And like even now as I'm listening to it again, like it feels like a nice mix of everything that I fell in love with on that first record, but it also spun a little bit forward where it's a little bit more modern and a little poppier, but it still maintains. Again, I hesitate to say Motown adjacent, but like that's the word. That's what keeps coming back to me. All right. Stepping on Me is in. Maybe we got one more in us. Let's do another round here, huh? Keith?
Yeah, I've still got, let's see, 4 more songs left. So
I've got 3.
I've got 5, but I think only 2 of them have a realistic chance.
yeah, so I think we got a few more rounds in us, Justin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with like one of the more melancholy songs that they did, "Dark Days" from All the Feels.
I don't have that one.
I can't save you. Nope, sorry.
Yeah. I figured I'd be out on a limb on that one. A little bit different than the rest of their stuff, but I wanted to change it up just a tiny bit.
I was gonna say this is a perfect time for that. Like we've got plenty going into the next round. So, all right, Katie.
I am sticking with Let Yourself Free, and I had Money Grabber, which had nothing. Will I have any more luck with Money Maker?
No.
Nope.
I do.
Please.
I love that you have both.
Capitalism
It's a valiant
is
effort.
dead.
Valiant effort, Katie.
I love that you have both. All right.
I love that I have both, and I love that both of them I was on my own.
All right. Since we know Katie only has 2 left, I'm just going to dump out this round. That way we can move on to the second round after this. I'll start at the bottom because they actually have a chance here. How about Hands Up?
Negative.
Nope.
Okay. A Place for Us?
No, sir.
The one thing I liked about Hands Up, though, I just found my notes on it. Like, it went Dark Days, which is this kind of slower, relatively speaking for them, song, and then Upbeat was like, or Hands Up was very upbeat and positive and stuff. It was just kind of funny to put those two right back to back.
Yeah.
So
now these last ones I know for a fact are whiffers. That's why I'm doing them last. LOV.
Oh, I do have that one. I
Oh,
was coming back to that because I messed up and I was like, oh shoot, I left one off of Picking Up the Pieces.
all right. So it gets a 2. All right. We'll take that. And then Winds of Change. Off Picking Up the Pieces.
That one was so
No.
close, but it was no.
And then
yeah, same.
last but not least, Tighter. Off of Picking Up the Pieces
Nope.
as well. All right. Well, I did all right there. All right. So we know Katie has 1 left. Dump out whatever you got left,
Go for it.
Keith.
For
Yeah,
me?
go, Keith,
Yeah.
go.
Okay. Kiss the Sky from All the Feels.
Nope.
Yeah. And then the last 2 from Let Yourself Free, Heaven and Silver Platter.
I've got Heaven.
Nice.
Wow.
I like the lyrics on that one. And of course, they
I
had a
did
piano
too.
intro, so I'm a sucker for it.
All right. So you found Katie's last one, which means Katie doesn't have to dump out.
I don't.
All right. So let's see what we got here. A little shuffling in here. In unanimously at 6. Damn it. All right.
You have flown too close to the sun.
Yeah, it's what I get. I mean, at least I went positive. At least I didn't say 2, and then we got that. Don't gotta work it out. Out of my league. Fade back. OCD. Get right back. Stepping on me. All right. And then, so that means we've got basically 3 of these 2s, and then I get my final say. So let me see what we got here in combo. 13. Yikes! That we got to trim down to 3.
Oh.
All right, so I'm going to run these down real quick. Dear Mr. President, picking up the pieces. House on Fire. 6 a.m. Spark. Hand Clap. The Walker. Burn It Down. Fool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good Intentions. LOV and Heaven. I feel like we should talk about Hand Clap first, and honestly, based on everything that we have in, I feel like if we would have gotten like only 2 or 3 unanimous, I think Hand Clap stands a chance. But I feel like with 12 other really strong songs and 6 really strong songs already in, I don't know if there's a place for Hand Clap. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I didn't have it, so I don't really have an opinion on it. But if you feel strongly enough, I mean, it could be your 10.
Send it to the moon.
Yeah,
I think you're right. Like if it's one of those things where I would be a little more willing to fight for it if we had like 6 or 7, slots to fill. But this was definitely, I would say, like lower in the not the caliber, but the favoritism, I would say.
Right. And I just feel like this is a chance, since we already got 6 songs that aren't Hand Clap in. It's like I feel like this is where that argument of, if you've heard Hand Clap already and didn't get into them, then what's going to make it different this time? It's like, all right, well, we'll just give them 10 different songs, and if they find Hand Clap on their own, then they can have it. So
yeah, I think there's better songs on More Than a Dream than Hand Clap.
Yeah. So all right then. Well, is there one of those 12 now songs, Keith, that's kind of jumping out at you as, man, I can't believe we didn't get that unanimously? Or do you want the album breakdown first, or?
I've got the album breakdown on my side here.
Okay.
At least of the ones that I had 2 for. Right now we've got one all the way through on each album, except for the self-title, which has 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And you know me, I'm similar to the song, a little OCD. I would like 2 songs per album to get a good spread for the artist here. Kind of starting with their most recent album. I think Heaven needs to be in, personally. I like the lyrics. It's a good start of the song, and it pulled you in, I think.
So, I mean, I was the odd man out here. I'm an easy pushover, unless you put your foot down, Katie. How do you?
I mean, I'm the one who had it, right. So I mean, I'm team Keith on this.
All right.
But Katie, to that point though, is it this or Good Intentions?
To be honest, if I had to decide right now, I'd say Heaven.
Okay.
There you go.
So let's do that. All right, and then I'll ask you the same question. Now we have 11 remaining. Is there one that kind of got 2 that you feel like should have gotten 3, Katie?
Run me through the ones from Picking Up the Pieces.
All right. Dear Mr. President, Picking Up the Pieces, and LOV.
It's hard because for me, because Money Grabber didn't make it, I would say Picking Up the Pieces, because it was between those 2 for me, and obviously, of course, I whiffed on Money Grabber. So I would probably say Picking Up the Pieces out of those 3.
I'm into it. Obviously, I had it, so. All right. I mean, again, this is
actually, both of you did. I'm
right.
the one who didn't have it.
Right. So, I mean, unless you want to put your foot down here, Keith, we'll Picking Up the Pieces as well through.
I really love Dear Mr. President, but yeah, Pick Up the Pieces again, title track. I always appreciate that. So,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a solid song, obviously.
All right. So if we're following the album trend, we now have 2 from self-titled, Let Yourself Free, and Picking Up the Pieces. So why don't we continue that trend and start looking at let's see, what do we got here from More Than Just a Dream? Let's see, House on Fire. Let me do it on this other one. It's easier to read. House on Fire, 6 a.m., Spark, and The Walker. So 4 that we need to trim down until 1. Do you guys, do either of you have a preference?
I'll defer to Keith before I make my
Yeah,
stand.
I'm leaning towards House on Fire. I don't know. I'm afraid if I try to play it on this side that you guys will pick it up on the mic, so I don't want to mess anything up. But if I remember correctly, House on Fire was pretty solid. I had some notes on that one. The chorus was really good. I think that's where my vote is right now. I only had House on Fire and Spark.
I would say it would be between House on Fire and 6 a.m.
Okay.
I love the lyrics of House on Fire, and this one was a tough one to cut. I would say it's arguably the darkest of More Than Just a Dream.
Gotcha.
What are you thinking, Justin?
I'm trying to give them, because I had both, so I'm trying to give them a little spin here to see if I have some sway. Well, let's weigh it out with what we have. Do we have something dark like House on Fire already? Is there something that, if we don't choose it, could take its place?
I don't think so.
Because right now, like, listening to them both...
Well, what about Burn It Down? Similar vibe,
Also,
fire, all that jazz, but...
Also true, yeah. I mean...
I think both of those...
Listening to them, House on Fire is doing more for me. But, like, I had both of them. So, you're asking me to pick between 2 that I had. So...
Let's do House on Fire.
All right. Let's do that then. All right. Boom. 2. And
there's your 9 right there.
oh, is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Although I will say, All the Feels only has 1 song on there, and I really feel strongly about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
All right. Well, what else is available from that record?
Not much, I don't think.
It looks like just OCD.
Yeah, we had OCD.
Yeah.
I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 was a good one, but I know we're at
I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over OCD.
Ooh. I don't know if I can make that argument, though.
I'm going to listen to each, because obviously it's my choice. So, yeah.
Yes,
well,
OCD's
already through.
Wait, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I wrote
It was
down
unanimous.
Only 2.
It's unanimous.
Yeah. No, OCD had all 3.
Kidding.
So,
Then in that case, I'm really pushing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So
it would round it out nicely, but it is Justin's pick since he picked 6 songs.
I was looking at the wrong list. That would be why. I was looking at the unanimous list and not the in the combo list. So that makes sense.
Spreadsheet you running over there, Justin?
Well, let me, just so I'm not like picking blindly, let me at least give myself a little listen to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because I don't know why I didn't have it.
It's one of those positive, upbeat ones. I mean, it's talking about getting hyped and zip codes and stuff, if I remember correctly.
Well, listen, I don't like to pick out of the bin. I am also like you, Keith, and if an opportunity presents itself to be able to represent the artist completely, evenly, and we have that opportunity, you guys are both strong on this song, so let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like I said, I don't have anything. Not that I need a reason here, because it is a final say. I don't have anything.
You're a man of the people.
I'm a man of the people, and I don't have a strong enough reason to shut you guys down on that. Like,
And you also have OCD.
I
like
also
this song.
have
Yeah.
OCD. So there we go. 10. We did it. We got there. So let's run this down. Don't Gotta Work It Out, Out of My League, Fade Back, OCD, Get Right Back, Stepping on Me, Heaven, Picking Up the Pieces, House on Fire, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We did it without hand clap, and I feel really good about it. Keith?
It's like we gave it its moment and then we put it away as God intended.
And again, like it's a fine song, and I completely turned around on it. I think that if we didn't agree so much early on, maybe it has a chance, but we only had 4 songs to play with. I'm not giving one of those spots to hand clap. It doesn't make sense. All right. So based on, or let's turn the heat up a little bit, Keith. Out of those 10, which one is the one? And for those who have never listened this far before or just don't know, the number one pick, it will be the Fitz and the Tantrums representative in our best of episode of 2024, which means we are going to try to win Alfredo Torres over with this song. We're also trying to win John and Randy over as well, but I like to put Fredo out there because immediately I know Keith is thinking, dudes.
Dudes.
Which of those 10 do you think?
Yeah. The number one of the 10. You would do this to us, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
getting to the 10, not so hard.
Yeah. Don't Gotta Work It Out. It's the first one all three of us, were unanimous on. It's from the first album.
I don't know that I disagree. What do you think, Katie?
You stole my answer.
There you go. Then let's not belabor this. Let's take, I feel like that's the one because the other one that's kind of like on the radar is Out of My League, but I think if we send Out of My League into it, you're doing the band an injustice because it's possible that people know that. Not that it's a bad song, obviously we picked it, but like you might get that, bias of, oh, I know this one, I already know this band, they stink, or whatever they have. Giving them Don't Gotta Work It Out gives them a clean slate like it did for me. And I think that's the best thing we could do for anybody trying to get into this band. So, all right, Don't Gotta Work It Out it is. And let's get back up to the top here so I can play that. All right, underneath us. I'm going to go down this list one last go again. Don't Gotta Work It Out, Out of My League, Fade Back, OCD, Get Right Back, Stepping on Me, Heaven, Picking Up the Pieces, House on Fire, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's let Don't Gotta Work It Out get a moment in the sun. I'm gonna need a doctor's care to help me through the night. Oh, we nailed it. That's definitely the
I
one.
am pleased.
That's the one. We did it. All right.
Yeah, that's how I'm getting through the week. These 10 right here.
All right, folks. We did the work for you. So you're into Fitz and the Tantrums. You're very welcome.
You're welcome for our service.
Yes. Look, you want to argue about it? That's cool. Go to Spotify, and there is a Q&A section on every episode. Tell me which songs you think we got wrong, which songs we got right, however you want to do it. That's fine. You want to play yourself, legionofstupid.com. There's a sign-up sheet available there, and you can sign up for any episode you want. And then on an After the Fact episode, you can yell at us about, hey, that Fits in the Tantrums episode. You guys said this. And where you can yell, like I said, the After the Fact. By the way, that's about to happen. When I stop this episode, Keith, Katie, and I are going to talk some more. And you can hear that by going to patreon.com/ohhijustin. $1 a month gets you in the door. It gets you the episodes of After the Fact every time I record one. It gets you deprogrammed a week before the rest of the world. Occasionally an Oh Hi Justin. It's been a while since I've done that because time. It's hard to make time. It's weird. It was something I made time for every day for like 3 years, and now suddenly I don't have time for it anymore. It sucks. But more on that on a different avenue. You can join the Discord. You can, all that stuff is fun. Discord, Patreon, all from legionofstupid.com. You can find all that. We're also a podcast, so that means we're on all podcast platforms. Subscribe, rate, comment. All that would be appreciated. 5 stars on Spotify goes a long way. And answering the Q&A goes a long way to help. I can say that I see the difference in the numbers when that happens. So please, if you're listening on Spotify, please do that for us. I can't say the same thing about Apple, even though that is where the majority of you are listening. I would appreciate a 5-star review. That would definitely be appreciated. But I don't know what it does for the numbers. And I think an even more majority of you are just listening randomly on the web. So I don't know how you're finding us, but we appreciate you. I got long-winded here, and I apologize for that. But with that, Fitz and the Tantrums, we learn them and love them, people. We'll see you next week. Bye.